It all started with a wheel of cheddar that vanished like it had sprouted legs and bolted from my cellar. I'd spent 6 months aging that beauty hand rolled, tucked on the third shelf beside the pepper jack and a rosemary Gouda I was particularly proud of. My cellar isn't just a storage room. It's my sanctuary. I control the moisture, the airflow, even play classical music to keep the cultures happy. So when that cheddar disappeared, I didn't panic. I figured I'd miscounted, though I'm meticulous about my cheese. But the next day, when a second wheel went missing, I knew I wasn't dealing with mice or bad math. Someone was stealing from me. I live in a small rural community, the kind where the biggest drama last year was over a guy painting his chicken coop teal. The woman stirring up that mess was Linda Haverford, HOA president, with a blonde bob, pearls on trash day, and a clipboard that might as well have been welded to her hand. Linda didn't just enforce rules, she invented them. For months, she made me her pet project. First, she claimed my goats bleeding broke noise ordinances. Then she tried to fine me for my cheese shop sign, calling it a VY Sewell nuisance. When that didn't stick, she measured my barn and declared it 2 inches too red for community harmony. Petty? Sure. But theft? That seemed like a stretch, even for Linda. Still, the timing lined up. She was always patrolling at night, claiming to hunt for trouble in a town with 2 crimes last year: a missing garden gnome and a squirrel misunderstanding. I kept my mouth shut. Around here, admitting you've been robbed in VY tells more gossip about you than the thief. So I cleaned the cellar, restocked it, and set a trap. I hid a motion-activated wildlife cam behind an air duct. No sound, just night VY shown. I left a wedge of aged cheddar front and center, bait for whoever was bold enough to come back. The next morning, the cheese was gone, and so was my patience. I pulled the footage and fast-forwarded through hours of nothing dust motes, still shelves. Then, at 12:42 a.m., the cellar door creaked open. A flashlight beam cut through the dark, and stepped Linda. Hoodie up, gloves on, a basket swinging like she was some twisted Little Red Riding Hood. She tiptoed to the cheddar, sniffed it, sliced a corner with a silver knife, and took a bite like she was at a wine tasting. Then she grabbed the whole wedge, tucked in her basket, and strolled out, winking at the camera she didn't know was there. I stared at the screen, pulse hammering, not from fear, but from rage. This wasn't just theft. She'd invaded my space, my craft, my life's work, with the smugness of someone who thought she'd never get caught. I could have called the cops, but Linda was practically the law around here, head of the neighborhood watch, besties with the deputy's wife, once made the mayor's wife cry over mulch. No, this was personal. I'd handle it myself, and I had the perfect partner in crime, a goat named Brutus. Brutus lived in a rusted pen behind my barn, a beast the size of a fridge with the temper of a biker stuck in traffic. He'd once smashed Linda's garden gnome into her bird bath, shattering both. She tried to ban him from the community livestock list, but our town bylaws, stuck in the 80s, gave Brutus rights, and boy, did he have rage. His scarred horn and narrowed eyes screamed trouble every time Linda passed by. If she wanted to treat my cellar like her personal buffet, I'd let Brutus serve her a lesson. I started training him the next day. I used the jingle of a bell like the one on Linda's purse as a cue, rewarding him when he charged at the sound. I sprayed old cheese wrappers with her lavender perfume smugness in a bottle and hid them around his pen. He found everyone. I fed him extra protein, gave him space to run, and strapped a tiny camera to his collar. If I was going to expose her, I wanted it in 1080p. Over the next few nights, Linda kept coming, growing bolder. She took 2 wheels one night, sampled the Gouda, tossed the rind like trash. She even labeled my shelves with sticky notes, as if claiming my cheese as her own. The nerve. The arrogance. I set the stage for her final VY sit. A fresh wheel of truffle cheddar her favorite sat under a dim lamp. The cellar door rigged to stay open just long enough. I unlocked the gate where Brutus waited, his collar cam rolling, his eyes glinting with purpose. Brutus wasn't like my other goats, content to graze and but buckets for fun. He'd been expelled from the county fair for sparking a stampede over a kid's funnel cake. One charge, a toppled hay bale, and 15 goats later, the livestock parade was canceled. Brutus was a legend, a liability, and now my weapon. I didn't sleep that night. I crouched by the barn with coffee and my phone, watching a live feed. At 12:41 a.m., the motion alert buzzed. Linda slipped in, hoodie low, flashlight sweeping like she owned the place. She grabbed the cheddar, sniffed it, and reached for the bell. It jingled once, twice, and then chaos. Brutus stormed in like a furry freight train, hooves pounding, shells cracking, cheese wheels flying. Linda screamed, a sound that could have shattered glass, and stumbled back. She tried to run, slipped on an Asiago wheel, and crashed into a barrel of pickled vegetables, splashing brine everywhere. Brutus didn't touch her. His hooves were blunted for safety, but he cornered her, snorting, stomping, his cam catching every second of her panic. She begged, arms flailing, as he nudged her back, his head tilted like he was judging her soul. Then she fell again, soaking in brine, surrounded by scattered cheese like a defeated VY lane. Brutus turned, climbed the stairs, and paused at the top, glancing back as if to say, "Don't come back." I saved the footage, backed it up 3 times, and uploaded it to a cloud folder labeled Linda's Reckoning. I let her run, let her think she'd escaped. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting someone believe they're safe right before the world sees who they are. The next day, Linda vanished from sight. No HOA rounds, no mailbox appearances. Whispers spread, screams, hoofbeats, a demon goat. I stayed quiet, editing the footage with captions, music, and a title. Caught stealing cheese from a farmer's cellar. I uploaded it at sunrise. Within an hour, it hit 50,000 VYUs. By noon, my farm stand was swarmed. Cars lined the road. A kid wore a Brutus Rules shirt. Someone drove 3 hours to shake the hoof of the goat who restored faith in justice. Linda stayed inside, curtains drawn, silent. She tried to fight back with a cease and desist letter, claiming slander and livestock-inflicted distress. My lawyer called it nonsense and suggested framing it. Then she sued in small claims court, alleging emotional trauma and property damage. I countered with the footage, receipts for stolen cheese, and neighbors' statements about her boasting of a secret cheese stash. The courtroom was packed, not with drama seekers, but with townsfolk tired of Linda's reign. I played the VY Dell Linda sneaking, stealing, then flailing as Brutus charged. The room laughed, even the judge smirked. I submitted proof of her market booth selling my cheese, labeled as imported from France. The judge ruled in my favor: restitution, damages, and a public HOA apology. Linda's countersuit was dismissed for wasting court time. Outside, the crowd cheered. Brutus bleated triumphantly. Linda slunk past, muttering about rural mob mentality. Back at the farm, I whispered to Brutus, "You won, you magnificent beast." Orders poured in. Kids drew Brutus in chalk on my driveway. A sign reading, "The goat who guards the cheese," went up above the cellar. The HOA stopped harassing me. Linda's yard grew wild, her pearls swapped for sweatshirts, her patrols replaced by late-night grocery runs. She tried to take down the VY Deo, but it was too late. 10 million VYUs, fan pages, even a cartoon of Brutus in a cape. She listed her house, left town quietly, MOVYing truck vanishing before dawn. A Dula 500 check arrived, and signed, her handwriting clear. I framed it beside the VY Deo thumbnail in the barn. The farm became a destination. I hired help, expanded the cellar, added a Brutus's Creamery sign. Every cheese will got a goat seal stamp. Customers called it a badge of bravery. Brutus took to fame, posing for photos, sniffing pockets for treats. The town council gave him an honorary peacekeeper certificate. At a CIVYC event, kids wore foam horns, holding "Never Steal Cheese" signs. I spoke about protecting what you build. No names mentioned, everyone knew. Linda's grip on the town was gone. The HOA email stopped. Brutus was nominated neighborhood mascot. She didn't show to vote. Life settled, better than before. The farm felt like home, not a battleground. One evening, on the porch with cider, I scrolled comments on the VY Deo, now a global hit. People wrote how it taught their kids about consequences, inspired them to face their own Lindas. It wasn't just cheese or a goat, it was about stopping small injustices before they fester. I looked at Brutus, lounging under the pecan tree, and raised my cup. He'd done what no rule book could, delivered justice with hooves and horns. So what do you think? Was I right to let Brutus handle Linda, or should I have gone to the cops? Is a goat too far for justice, or just what petty tyrants deserve? Should Linda get a chance to redeem herself, or is her cheese-stealing saga a permanent stain? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if Brutus is your hero, and subscribe for more stories where justice gets a little wild.